All right, it's a somber day here on the square. I'm your host, Curtis the Fifth.
I'm Curtis the Fourth.
Football season's over, but we do get NFL offseason, which is very nice. But that's a month away, so we're gonna wrap up the season by just giving the first week of the NFL offseason news here. Obviously, we go through the final injury report of the 2021-2022 postseason here. And, well, there's a couple of headlines to talk about quickly here, and then we'll give you guys an update on what's going to be happening moving forward. So let's dive right in. Injury report. Only two to report, as there was only two major injuries in the Super Bowl. Start with Odell Beckham. Has an ACL tear. Probably will not be back before the beginning of next season. I think the Rams might have caught a break here. I think this makes it infinitely easier for them to re-sign Odell Beckham.
It could be. Other teams might just back off now, especially whatever his asking price is going to be, and too much risk. You admit, what is he, sixth season now, going to seventh?
I know he's going to be 30.
Could be eighth. At this point, you're a veteran. No guarantees. Probably, whatever he's asking for, slash that in half. I wanted a 4-year deal, only getting a 2. Is it whatever?
I mean, if I'm LA, I give him the 4-year deal, a cheap 4-year deal. I mean, I don't think he cares about the money if he's coming back to LA. If he's coming back to LA, I would be cheap 4 years. We have you for the rest of your career. We'll pair you up with Matt Stafford. Once he's done, you're done. Call it a career.
I can see that. So
that's what I would do if I was the Rams. But other injury, Cincinnati quarterback, obviously Joe Burrow. We saw him screaming on the turf late at the end of the game there.
I loved it.
He did not tear anything, no structural damage. He will be back. Doesn't need surgery for his injury at all. He just has a sprained, I think it was left knee, right knee? I don't know. He has a sprained knee. So that's
one of his knees.
One of those. I think he tore the other one last year. So
I was gonna say, after what we've seen in his rookie year, I think this is just, this is cakewalk here. Yeah. This is not a problem.
I mean, he came back in and played, and took another sack.
Right.
So
the one that really took him out.
Yeah. It ended their entire season. No, but he's fine. So there's no real worry going into next season for us football fans that Joe Burrow, he will be playing next year. He shouldn't miss any time.
He shouldn't, and it was his right knee. Just to be clear.
Cool. So that's that. The injury report. Two knee injuries. It's back-to-back weeks where everybody who's still playing had knee injuries.
Yeah.
Four knee injuries to end the season. That's not fun. Let's talk about some headlines. Let's start with the coaching hiring. Minnesota officially has hired LA Rams offensive coordinator Kevin O'Connell. As we said, that was the plan all along. They go out there, win the Super Bowl. Kevin O'Connell gets the head job over in Minnesota. So that's his deal. He's come out and said already he is fully committed. I think you kind of have to be committed to a $45 million contract, but he's fully committed to Kirk Cousins moving forward. So
you have a choice.
Yeah, exactly. Well, apparently he does, and we'll get to that in a second. But he is to be introduced on Thursday, tomorrow, as we are recording here on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Now, other coaching news, Cincinnati has re-upped basically their entire coaching staff. Their coordinators have received 3-year extensions to their deals, and Zach Taylor just today re-signed all the way through 2026. So they've locked in their head guys for the next few years here. They're going all in on at least the coaching staff and giving them some more time to get them that Lombardi Trophy
and
back.
Rightfully so. I like what they're doing because from a Cincinnati standpoint, haven't had many successful years to be able to do this type of
Book
thing.
it right now. He just said he liked what the Cincinnati Bengals were doing, guys.
That's what
You're never going to hear that again. Just kidding.
Forever changed.
Wow. Some other roster moves that happened today, or some rumors of roster moves. First things first, definitively did happen today. Atlanta has cut linebacker Dante Fowler, and he was on the last year of his contract. They're trying to free up some cap space, so they put him on the chopping block. Next few things are a little bit of rumor mill over here. Tensions between the Arizona Cardinals and quarterback Kyler Murray have they've turned that burner up a little bit. I don't know if you saw some of the.
I did. I had an initial reaction. I ain't gonna say like most of the country or the NFL world had, but it was really like, what the hell? You know, like, what the hell's going on here? You know,
this has literally come out of nowhere. What is happening in Arizona?
Is it? Correct me if I'm wrong. From what little energy and attention I was given to this story, because I didn't think it was gonna get the traction it got, and then it got traction. And I'm a little concerned. But with that being said, it was just more of a point fingering. Now this is your fault. No, it's their fault. And no, it's his fault.
It started.
What the hell is going on here?
It started last week before the Super Bowl, when obviously Kyler Murray removed all of Arizona Cardinals off of his.
That was a non-story to me, but go ahead.
It was, but the apparent reasoning for that was Cliff Kingsbury is his guy. A lot of the coaching staff hadn't received their bonuses for the season and whatnot, and he was going to bat for his guy, and the Arizona organization just kind of waved it off, whatever. Now, some executive, it got leaked that he was talking about, like you said, finger pointing. Kyler Murray isn't a real leader. He can't. He doesn't incite inspiration on the team, and this, that, the other. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this, Kyler Murray was MVP candidate going into week 10 of the NFL season. Like, that's deep into the season. He's in NFL. If you're going through the month of October as an MVP candidate, you're the real deal.
Right.
Like, I don't know what, or that was into November. It was just before Thanksgiving when he went down.
Right.
So I don't know what's happening on that side, but then Kyler Murray simply, I think this was the coldest thing you could ever say. He says basically, I don't have the exact quote, but it was just like, I'm not entertaining nonsense was basically what he said. And I was just like, okay, well, Kyler Murray seems to be taking the high road here, because that is not the way I would respond to the allocations being made by me.
He's taking it that way here in February, but we shall see where this goes down the line. But this is not good, considering what we got to see implode in the last second half of the year.
Yeah.
And now, was this days before the Super Bowl? Was this day after?
This report came out the day after. The comments must have come at least just before the Super Bowl.
Right. And that's it, just the timing and everything. Like, who does that? You know, why is this being leaked right now anyway? And it's just
I'm just want to know what executive is saying that Kyler Murray isn't a good leader.
This is showing me the toxicity that's going on in Arizona. What's causing this thing to this was look like it was going to be a giant and a Goliath that was going to just all of a sudden birth out of nowhere, a monster and coming up out of the NFC, and they turned just cupcakes in the second half of the year, and now we're doing this, and like you're saying, now it's coming from the executives. It's showing me there's a lot of issues going on in this organization right now.
I don't believe I don't take any value out of what this executive is saying just because you're an executive. Like you're not out there. Like, if this was a player saying it, I'd have a whole different sentence. Like if this was somebody, D-Hop comes out and it's like, yeah, he's not a really good leader. He doesn't incite inspiration on our team and whatnot. Ooh, okay, we got a problem, Kyler Murray. What's going on? How are we going to mend this situation? That's how I would take it. But this is just an executive, not even like a GM or anything like that, because I feel like they would name drop that in their report. If this is a GM, you drafted him. This is on you. But regardless,
they're early. You never know.
Yeah, I know. I get that, but this is just like this feels worse than what was happening over in Houston. You are actively pushing out an MVP candidate from your organization.
Seen this before? All I'm gonna say, this does not bode well, historically speaking. This Arizona, you do not want to go down this road.
Don't want to do it.
Don't want to
do it. Speaking of Deshaun Watson, rumors come out. Deshaun Watson, apparently his preferred destinations have changed. Apparently, this dude wants to be in either Minnesota or Tampa Bay. I don't believe this story for a second.
Okay.
I can understand adding Tampa Bay to your list. I see no earthly reason why you would want to be associated with Minnesota. And I am taking my Bears fandom out of this. Obviously, I do not want to see Deshaun Watson in this division whatsoever. No. But taking that out of it, I'm just looking at Minnesota as a roster.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't got no damn offensive line. And that defense is aging and getting worse by the day. The only thing really redeeming about that defense is Danielle Hunter, who can't stay on the field.
Right.
So why would me, coming from a crap situation in Houston, want to come to a crap situation in Minnesota?
I don't know, but is there somebody in the organization that he once coached with at one point? Or?
Not that Bill O'Brien didn't come over. I didn't see that happen.
You sure he's not like a special?
Dabo Sweetie's still down in Clemson, last I heard.
Okay, I'm just curious. I didn't come across this story at all. So,
well, it just dropped today. I could see Tampa Bay, obviously, because you're still in a nice weather state, still don't have any state income tax, and you've got clearly a Super Bowl roster ready made. You just got to fill in Tom Brady's shoes, and people really aren't going to compare you to Tom Brady because you're a completely different quarterback.
Just be you.
Yeah. So that would actually be that would bode well for you.
You don't have to be Tom Brady.
Why would you want to come to Minnesota where you literally have to carry everything in Minnesota? There's no help coming. Obviously, you got Dalvin Cook, you got Justin Jefferson.
Aha, you got him for part of the season. Until he plays 16, 17 games, I'll give him 16 next year. He can miss one. Just to show me that he can get through the whole year.
I mean, that's a fair point, but what I'm saying is
he's going to miss 3 to 5 games.
You've got one of the top running back rooms in the NFL, because I'll say Alexander Mattison is a very nice backup running back over here in Minnesota. And then you've got Justin Jefferson, you've got Adam Thielen. I'm not as high on Adam Thielen as a lot of people are, but when you pair him with the Justin Jefferson, it's I'll take the two of them if I have to.
And
you're going to twist my
arm.
I know, KJ Osborne, get the hell out of here.
And then you got the tight end coming back.
Yeah, Irv Smith, I do like him. But that's another guy. Are we gonna see you all year long?
Don't know.
Year 2, you got to take off the whole season, dude.
It's the Justin Jefferson year to go down. You just I'm not saying that because I'm trying to put some bad mojo on this team. I'm not.
They've got enough bad mojo as it is.
As an organization, it has nothing to do with the players.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So I was thoroughly confused when I saw. I'm on ESPN scrolling through and I see Deshaun Watson in a purple uniform. I was like, "The hell is this?"
It's with the Ravens.
I was looking at that. I was like, "The heck are we talking about?" I cannot just trying to think in Deshaun Watson's mind. Like, why would I want to come to Minnesota?
Right.
They don't have money either. They're negative on cap space right now. Like they can't bring anything to help.
Probably have to be something in the ballpark of the Dallas Cowboys, Minnesota Vikings, Herschel Walker deal, where it was like Herschel Walker for the team. Basically, it would have to. That's what I'm saying. They would have to do something so significant. Of course, and of course, Houston got to want to take.
Kirk Cousins,
I mean,
I guess they could take it on, but
I mean, if there's a team that probably it doesn't even matter, it would probably be them. So
fair, that does make sense.
That makes sense, but I'm like, damn, is that
but you're
enough,
taking on
is
more
that
money
enough to put them in this to actually sit here and make an article and write this out, as a possible viable, option.
When I saw Minnesota was one of the preferred destinations, air quotes there, I immediately was just like, this can't be real. It doesn't make any. It really does not make any sense on Minnesota side or on Deshaun Watson side.
No, it doesn't.
So, but the funny thing is that Tampa Bay makes all the sense in the world.
That does. So we shall see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave that one up in the air. But you did mention Lamar Jackson just a second ago here. Hear me out.
All right. You got the floor.
Clearly, Baltimore needs more weapons. I mean, obviously, they're getting their running backs back and whatnot, but Sammy Watkins and Hollywood Brown not going to cut it next year. Can we agree on that?
For the most part, yes. I mean, if I had to keep one, I guess I'm keeping Brown, but...
Well, no, I'm saying we can't run it back with those two.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So, okay, we can agree there.
That's not going to work.
So, clearly that doesn't work for them. We caught Lamar Jackson at the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Hanging out with, guess who?
I have no idea.
Antonio Brown. Gets to match up on the other side with his cousin. Gets to play with an MVP quarterback in Lamar Jackson in this offense. That offense is getting back their running back room.
Okay. I'll let you finish.
I just, if any team is going to take him and you want to put him in a spot where he's going to get the touches that he clearly is going to need, I would not have an issue with them taking up Antonio Brown and pulling him into the wide receiver room because regardless, they need the talent. This team is hurting for wide receiver talent.
They do, but Antonio Brown's left a really bad taste in my mouth. This whole marching off the field thing, quitting it, before the half, and well, they're not looking out for my well-being, and there was, all of this back and forth nonsense, and Baltimore has to really ask, John, yes. Jim Harbaugh. Is it John?
John
we
Harbaugh.
can always get this wrong.
I'm probably
John.
It's John Harbaugh, yeah.
Okay. John Harbaugh. Sorry, people. Not Jim.
You can't remember which one's which.
I never can when it comes to these coaches. But John Harbaugh has to really ask himself a serious question. And this is his own reputation that he's putting up. Do you really want to deal with whatever chemistry issues y'all having, which I'm talking about from not necessarily from a talent standpoint, but just within the locker room?
Yeah.
That's a very real thing because after what I've seen what happened in Tampa, I just don't. I would be very, very skeptical about bringing him into my organization. I know what you can do.
Yeah.
However, I know I would feel that I would have a very, very short leash with you and a time limit. Like I got about an 8-week window to let's just go crazy for the first half. But about the second half, Rashad Bateman.
Rashad Bateman definitely has to step up.
Right. Joe Blow wide receiver that we're going to pick up over here. Somebody, you know what I'm saying? They're going to need something else in the second half because this dude, I can't necessarily feel, I'm not going to feel confident that this dude's going to be around week 16, week 17, week 18. Where you at, man? What did you run back off the field again?
Yeah.
I
totally agree. I definitely.
If he ran off, hear me out. If he ran off the field in Tampa Bay, in Tampa, he leaves, you still look at the bench and be like, God damn, look at all these people over here. It didn't even matter. And yet if he gonna run away from that, what make you think he's not running away in Baltimore? Because let's be very clear. Yes, that brings the talent. Baltimore needs a wide receiver. That's not gonna stop Lamar Jackson and his magic and what he does when he puts the ball on the ground and just runs with it.
No, it doesn't stop that.
No, I'm saying not gonna stop his consistency with his number one target, Mark Andrews. Is it? Let's be clear. That is his number one target, and it's not even a safety valve target. It's just
dude. It's the only person he can throw to. What are you talking about?
Only receiver that guy. So only one that could catch. What that means? Yeah, Hollywood Brown. I don't know how to catch, buddy. And
you can run fast, but you need hands, dude.
And oh my god! And what is his counterpart on the other side of the field?
Sammy Watkins.
Even worse.
Yeah,
the worst version.
He's been horrible since he was signed in Kansas City. Since he left,
he had 4 good games. Said 4.
No,
it's 4 more than he got in Baltimore. So, with that being said, could he help them? I think he can help them like right now, but he cannot help them for the duration of the season. When it matters most, I don't think he's going to be around. I just don't. I'm sorry. That little stunt he pulled to Tampa, I'm done.
I don't think that, because I think at this point with Baltimore, regardless of his insubordination or whatever you want to call one, like you said, stunt in Baltimore or in Tampa Bay, regardless of that, Baltimore is hurting at wide. Like they've tried for 3 straight seasons to get wide receiver talent. They suck at evaluating. Like you look at Pittsburgh and their ability to evaluate wide receivers versus Baltimore and their ability to. They are so bad at it. They cannot get a wide receiver to save their life.
You're true. That is absolutely true. They signed him. Great. You got the talent you needed. That's wonderful. Now you have to play the season.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm just saying, come October.
If you can get him on like a VM deal.
I'm saying like around by October 23rd, be concerned because it's going to start turning at that point.
But I think if you take what you're saying in mind, you get him on a VM deal. You sign him to veteran minimum. You don't have to really invest too much money into him. You say,
I got you.
Just screw it. Throw him $1 million. Just say you got it. We will guarantee you got $1 million if you stay with us for the full season. And like you said, John Harbaugh, he's on a short leash. Lamar Jackson, if this is you campaigning for us to go get him, it's your ass.
Yeah, you're responsible for this guy.
All of that. I'm not saying that he would make it to the end. I don't think that he would. And at a certain point, like you said, he's going to pull another stunt. There's going to be another allegation. There's going to be something to pop up. We don't know what it is. It always shocks us. It's always a surprise when it happens, but something is going to go wrong. You plan for that.
On his personal
you cut it off.
Pads now, and they're not regulated by the league. Whatever, it's just something. All I'm saying.
I'm saying if you're prepared, if you're going into it prepared for that,
no, I get that.
Then you can just cut it off and be like, all right, well, it's time for like you said, Rashad Bateman. Yeah. You've got to become the number one.
Yeah,
he's the only one with promise over there.
He's going to be the number one eventually. I mean, yeah, because he should be the number 2 in the natural progression of things and all this and that. They don't have it. They have Mark Andrews. I'm just sorry. Their number 1 is the tight end. They just got a different kind of offense, and they got a running quarterback. They need to just stick to their strengths. Stop trying to get cute with Antonio Brown, because that's getting cute with them, in my opinion. But with that being said, there's been one fundamental truth about Antonio Brown, no matter where he's been. Pittsburgh, Oakland, Tampa Bay, or even Baltimore.
New England.
Or no, even New England. There's always been an issue with Antonio Brown, no matter where he has been.
I agree.
With that, why all of a sudden Baltimore or whoever who's just, we need to get somebody. We need to sell tickets. Think about this. What city has and what team and franchise he's played for that he has just been Antonio Brown, the model wide receiver in the NFL. Just I'm here to represent team whoever, Steelers, team Patriots. It just has not happened. I think the Tampa Bay one really just woke me up because I'm like, okay, perfect scenario, redemption thing. You reinstated.
He was good for a year and a half.
You back in the year. Back. Yeah.
No, sorry. He's good for a year. Half of this year, half of last year.
That's all I'm getting at. It's like Baltimore is a good situation in general.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good situation for him.
I think the NFL is a good situation for him, but I'm really saying if you're gonna, because the other thing is that obviously this would come you're signing Antonio Brown after you've missed out on Chris Godwin, you've missed out on Odell Beckham, you've missed out on Allen Robinson. On who?
Chris Godwin. I'm sorry. I
apologize. Say Chris Godwin.
I apologize, Mr. Godwin.
Wide receiver in the league.
Stop, man. Hear me. I'm hearing Godwin and thinking Galladay. Stop. I apologize, Mr. Godwin.
Hey, Kenny Galladay has 3 more years on his deal. He's married to the Giants.
Freaking genius. Getting paid to do nothing. I swear. Man, I gotta figure this little niche out. That's everything I ever want to give him credit for. I'm gonna give him credit for that contract. That's it. Moving on.
As I was saying, Chris Godwin, yes. Allen Robinson, Odell Beckham, Devontae Adams, if whatever happens there happens. That's going to be after they miss out on all the Mike Williams. Mike Williams. So after they miss out on all those guys, I would say
Julio Jones.
I think Julio Jones is still under Tennessee.
He took a 1-year contract. I thought he was.
No, he was traded.
It doesn't matter.
So
it doesn't matter.
Regardless, I do believe that
I thought he was last year.
If they've missed out on all of those guys, the first 5, 6, 7 guys, and then you're relegated now to just number 3s out in this wasteland of wide receivers. They don't need another number 3. They don't need another guy like that. They need somebody who has that. They're just looking at, okay, who's got the most talent? Clearly, it's going to be AB. I'm saying it's coming after all of those guys with perfect situations.
If there was a safer pick, just saying, just on the short list. I don't care for this guy, but he's a safer pick. I'll take Juju.
And I forgot about Juju. Yeah,
you already know.
Yeah.
The fact that I even said that is telling you how toxic it is with Antonio
If you guys
Brown.
have been listening to us, he does not like Juju.
And I'm sitting there saying, pass on Antonio Brown. Because look, week 15, 16, 17, at least I know for the most part, Juju will show up.
If he's healthy.
Antonio Brown, healthy or not, we just don't know.
Yeah.
I can't, and Baltimore's window is closing, as you can see.
Oh, for sure. Well, now they've already picked up Lamar Jackson's 5th-year option, which will be this next season, I believe. Mm-hmm. So, are you just going to go into this season blind, not knowing if you're going to have him for years down the line? Because you got to re-sign him. Like, true. I don't think there's any let's just get on the same page here. They're giving him a new contract this offseason, you think?
Absolutely.
Okay. So they're going to extend him here. That's going to take away a lot of money. I don't know. I don't think they're going to be able to be in the market for an Allen Robinson or a Chris Godwin or an Odell.
Probably not even a Juju. I don't know what his.
After Juju got injured, I think his market value came down a couple million.
But he was still, what was he asking, like 8, 9?
No, he was when he was trying to get over Kansas City, he was trying to get like 13, 14 million.
Oh, yeah. And Kansas City offered him, 9, right?
Yeah, because they offered him everything that they had.
Right. And he was just like, no, I'll just stay where I'm.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So,
okay.
That was just another. It was a rumor, and it's become a story the last couple of days that it's possibly he could be going. When he left Tampa Bay, I agreed with you. I was like, I don't think he's ever. I think he's done in the NFL. Like
he should never play again. I mean, and I'm not saying that he's the first player who ran off the field. You've seen what it was just tasteless, and
it was tasteless on his part. I will say we still don't know the full story because I do not trust what Bruce Arians, anything that comes out of that man's mouth. So I'm saying for the last 4 or 5 teams that Antonio Brown's been a part of, we couldn't trust him there. I can't trust Bruce Arians because he's been a hypocrite for the last 3 years.
Okay, Bruce Arians, Urban Meyer, who you listening to?
Bruce Arians.
Oh, all right, keep it going.
Urban Meyer.
Made my point. That's what I thought you would do.
All right, last.
You were going so hard about that. I was like, you sure? Let me be your scenario here.
Fair enough.
These are your only 2 choices.
All right, we want to talk about bad stuff. Let's get into this last headline. My goodness, the news came out this morning. Dallas, 2016, ended up paying hush money and settlement money to 4 cheerleaders for an executive being alleged for voyeurism.
Okay, did not see that one either. Interesting.
Yeah, Dallas executive Richard Dalrymple.
Oh, they have a name. Okay.
Yeah. No, I went through the story to find this man's name.
Okay.
Dallas executive Richard Dalrymple was apparently Dallas ended up getting into a whole legal situation back in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And man, the NFL is good at hiding stories, man. They buried this thing so far down that nobody knew about it. And of course, they have to protect the face of the league, Jerry Jones.
Let me guess before you go any further. They found this story out when they were concluding the investigation of the Washington football team, right? And then this came out some kind of way in Washington's files.
No. I think
like everything comes out of that, but a Washington situation.
No, this was a whole. The NFL didn't release this. This was something completely like it's literally a hidden file that somebody found. Because it's literally there's a $2.4 million payment that was made by Dallas and people were going through the records and they were like, wait, what is this? And it's literally a confidential payment that was made. And so they were like, the hell is it? And when they found out what it was, they're like, well, the NFL, like they went back and looked, there's zero reports of any of this. This is the problem with the NFL's arbitration rule. Because the NFL is able to, if a league executive goes to the NFL and says, obviously this needs to be investigated, but we don't want any bad publicity about it. The NFL can just say, okay, we'll immediately put it into arbitration. We won't allow any of the findings to go public, and they can just sweep it on the rug. And if somebody didn't go back and look at Dallas's financial records from 2016, we would have never known about this. The NFL wasn't going to say anything. Dallas for damn sure wasn't going to say anything. And we definitely know Richard Dalrymple wasn't going to say anything either.
Wow. This is
So, the NFL back at it again.
Back at it. Never stopped. So, just another story, and then let's just keep you know what? We talk here on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or afternoon, evening each week. We just gonna wait till next week and see what next week brings. Because every week something comes up. Every single.
Hopefully,
week,
we'll get an update on the Washington football investigation, which actually that is the next story. Okay. The NFL has hired their lawyer.
Okay.
It's the former U.S. attorney. She is going to take the reins on defending. This baffles me that she's taking this case because she's going to be defending the NFL. This is for Brian Flores' case. This is not for Washington football team. She's going to be defending the NFL entity as a whole. Miami, Houston, and who is the other team named in Denver? She's going to defend those three in the lawsuit. That popped up from Brian Flores' class action lawsuit there. So,
in the midst of all of this, how many more head coaching jobs are still open?
0.
And how many does Brian Flores been a part of?
How many?
Who's hired this guy? How many teams hired him?
0. You know what actually happened? One team fired him this year.
That's what I heard. I just find this interesting, and this case is going on, it's about to really kick off, and I hope this thing gets really amplified. I want this is really gonna.
I'm not letting it die. It's not. I'm gonna say this: if you don't trust the national media or some of the bigger shows to talk about it, I'm not letting this story die.
But they're about to try.
Yeah, I'm one of the producers on this show. It's going to be talked about on the square here. So if you want to get updates on it, I'm tracking this story, and it is going to be talked about on this show.
Stay with this one. This is the problem, and I'm almost at the point. Anytime I see something go shady, go sideways at the NFL, when we cover the NBA, I think it's our duty to start talking about these things. Even if it's for just a couple minutes, I think it just needs to be brought to light.
It has to stay alive. I'm not going to allow this Washington football story to go swept under the rug. I'm not going to allow Brian Flores to be swept under the rug. Not going to allow this Dallas story. And again, Richard Dalrymple. Remember that name, because that last name alone should be enough to remember. But what he does, I'm almost positive, and I guess I should have done a little bit more research to make sure that this is the case. I'm hoping this man is no longer with the Dallas football organization.
Doesn't say as of yet. And it's one of Jerry Jones' boys. So I'm just going on a limb and say he still has a job right now, and probably will have one for the next year. But let's see where this case goes.
Well, there's no case; it's already been settled. Back in 2016, it's wrapped up. This whole thing has been.
Let's see where
come to some conclusion. The NFL needs to step in.
I guess with the NFL and dealing with that, now I'm thinking about Brian Flores in his case. So
yeah,
I'm putting it all together.
Okay.
But let's just see where all this stuff goes.
Yeah.
In the next couple months. Plus, the exciting offseason is right around the corner. So there's going to be a lot of changes and a lot of things are going to be coming out in the next, like I said, next week we're going to have 3-4 more stories that came out. I ain't talking about, here's part 2 of what we were talking. No, brand new stuff.
Yeah. There's more.
So let's keep it moving.
All right, well, last thing, I just want to give you guys a kind of an update on kind of what we're going to be looking at moving forward. We're going to be I'm ramping up my NBA viewership right now, and I hope you will do the same as we get ready for the NBA playoffs. So we will be getting into some NBA talk in the coming weeks, months, what have you. But before that, we want to give the 2021-2022 season its proper send-off. So next week we'll have a show on that. Stay tuned. It'll be fun to look at this year in review. And then after that, we want to look ahead a little bit and look at this offseason. Let's kind of quickly go through the offseason schedule right now. Starts off starting in March. We've got the 1st through the 7th is the scouting combine. So that's when we're going to start getting into draft talk and whatnot, as that begins to pick up there. March 8th is going to be the deadline so March 8th at 4 p.m. Eastern time is going to be the deadline for franchise tag and transition tags. That's going to be a really pivotal date that we should, before that time, get some news on Aaron Rodgers and what his plans are moving forward. A week later, March 14th through the 16th, is the legal tampering period for the NFL. So at noon Eastern time on March 14th, they will be able to start negotiations, and we'll start seeing those early deals start to get made for the free agency period. And then on March 16th, that is when at 4 p.m. is technically the day that that the new league year starts, and that new league year does push and roll over. The free agency period begins. So that's when every deal that was made in that 3-day window becomes official, and all moves going forward can be made official immediately. So the 2022-2023 season begins on March 16th. And then March 27th to the 30th, we've got the owners meetings happening. So we'll get rule changes and overtime information. All that stuff will come out towards at the end of the March month there. And then April 4th is the day that we kick off off-season training programs and whatnot. So that is going to get people ready to start getting into shape for the 2022 season, regular season anyway, with that 4-month ramped up period. And we'll probably be talking about preview stuff and all the information with moves and additions, subtractions, what we're excited about moving forward for the next season. We'll probably begin to ramp up around that time, as I think that's technically OTA window right there.
Yep.
Like rookie mini camp and then OTAs is when we'll kick that up. And then the NFL draft is on April 28th through the 30th. So obviously that is always going to be a big moment there.
Right.
So we'll see how things go in that regard. I just wanted to give you guys an update on kind of what these next few months is going to look like, as Obviously, the structure is going to be a little bit different as there's no weekly football. Oh, sad. But we'll be talking basketball, NBA, and getting into arguably probably the more fun part of the NFL cycle, the offseason, the moves, the big information is going to be coming out.
Oh, I'm fired up for the offseason.
Yeah, I love NFL offseason.
You already know. That last season left a bad taste in my mouth. Let's just run it back. Let's go.
It's going to be fun. We'll be talking and discussing it all. So you won't miss a thing over here. We're just going to keep plugging right along. So we might take a week off here or there in this next month. So just if you don't see anything there, don't be worried. We didn't die. We're not going anywhere. It's just nothing to talk about. So I still got to get it. I have to switch from NFL mode to NBA mode. So
proverbial gray area.
Yeah. So it's going to be a little bit of a transition, but stick with us. We'll be picking things up, and you guys will have some content to enjoy. So
yes.
Anything from your side there?
No. You want to let the viewers or the listeners know is probably what you probably already did it, but if you didn't, do it now. But if not, remind me. What are we covering next week?
Next week specifically is going to be the recap we want to give 2021 and 2022 NFL season. We're going to give it its proper send-off. So a little recap, year in review show, probably like we did last year, kind of a top 10 moments type thing. So it's going to be a little bit of a nostalgia for this season. Remind you guys of some things that you probably forgot about from just a few months ago.
Yeah.
So that'll be that. We want to thank you guys again for listening and sticking with us all season long. Stick with us all off season long, and you guys will not be disappointed.
Yes. So congratulations to you. We successfully got through a full NFL season. It's had its ups and downs, but overall, I had a good time. I think you definitely enjoyed the season.
Sure.
I thought it was great up until conference championships, but nevertheless, I have to say a couple things. Cincinnati Bengals didn't win the Super Bowl, and neither did the Packers. With that being said, it's a win.
Round of applause. All right. We thank you guys again for listening, and we will catch you guys in the next one.